are we all doing? Welcome to week 2. It's great to have those of you that can make it back. I know a couple of you said that you were away traveling or doing things this week or haven't had enough time to do your homework. So you can catch this at a later date. I have not used copyright music this week, so you will see the quality of the music. Might feel like you're in a bit of an elevator, but we go with it and see, and then hopefully it will mean that YouTube will accept the video afterwards, and so you can watch this over the Christmas break. So let's just have a little look on the chat and see. Catherine is with us. Hello. See if anyone else is logged in. I know there's a slight delay between me logging in and the chat. So, hey, Harriet. So we'll just leave it a few more minutes and see if anyone else is going to join us. But in the meantime, I will go to the slides. So that's bye for me. And then that would be quite helpful. Okay, so whilst we're waiting for people, does anyone have any questions from last week? Anything they didn't understand, or any thoughts on how this week has been? You're all over it. Okie dokie. Oh, thanks, Taryn. Did you look at the notes from Daniela Laporte on Desire Map? She had some good ones. That you can do for future. Okie dokie. Okay, let's crack on, and then people can join us as and when. I'm sure they won't miss too much. So last week we looked at 2015 and all of our highs and our lows, and leaving the rubbish stuff here. Thanks so much of those of you that got in touch with your feedback. Lots of you found the crossing out of what has actually not gone so well this year really therapeutic and helpful. And others of you absolutely loved looking at all the good stuff, and it was a great reminder that this year has been a really positive year, which is always nice to remind ourselves of and have a bit of gratitude around. So this week we are all around the actual goals. So we'll probably go quite fast, but don't worry, you can always come back to stuff. But in order to get through all the content, I probably will rattle through at some stages. So just once again, don't censor what you're writing, just go with it, and you'll probably be quite surprised at what comes up at the end of it. But yeah, just kind of trust yourself and see how you roll. So yeah, we're doing the goal setting bit, and then after that we're going to start trying to break down those goals and put into a 2016 action plan, and then finally look at our accountability and who's going to hold us and who we can involve in our 2016 planning. Hey Amanda, thank you for joining us. We're just literally recapping, so you haven't missed much. But before we begin, once again, I asked you last week what you're committing to. This week, I just want you to literally just jot down or even think through what would be the best outcome for you over the next hour, hour and a half. Why are you here? What would you like to get out of it? Just think it through. Is there no on your notes? Just, yeah. Or there's you can write that on the top of page 11, pages. Or 12 or 13. And then secondly, what impact could you, having invested this time in yourself, have on those around you? First question was, why are you here? And then the impact that could have on those around you. I wonder if you guys in the UK get to hear those hardy-darts. If my microphone is that good. Oh. Okay, cool. So how did you get on with your homework? Any values crop up? Could you answer, if those of you that weren't with us last week, just try and answer the question, I feel most alive when I feel, or I come alive when I am doing, or I am at my best when I am helpful, kind, helping others, feel loved. What are some of those emotions that you came up with? And put some of them in the chat so we can steal any good ones, get inspired, learn from one another. And if you're still struggling with this, absolutely no worries. Go to Daniela Laporte. The link I sent out in the email last week might give you some inspiration, but the best thing is about a theme is you can continually work with it. It doesn't have to be set in gold, in stone rather. So yeah, so just keep going with it. And one of the things that might be helpful is for you to stretch yourself. So don't do things that you have already mastered, but rather you're kind of peeling back the layers of who you are, like that onion, to get to the authenticness that's at the bottom or the middle. These are some of my favorite quotes that keep me kind of going throughout the year and might be helpful for you, apart from I've just seen there's a typo. There's no one alive that is youer than you should be. Life is 10% of what happens to me and 90% of how I react to it. So that was quite relevant for the stuff we did last week. And then whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. Okay, so let's crack on with my story about a car. And this is a car in Cape Town, which is where we are off to next week. And life is like, imagine your life is like a car. And so you can't control that time. We cannot control time. Each of us have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It keeps going. So imagine those wheels of your car are continually going, and it's up to you whether or not you know where you're headed. So who's actually driving? Who's actually making the decisions? Is it your past? Is it a parent? Is it your children? Is it your husband? Who's actually calling the shots on where you are headed in life next year? And unless you have a map, then who knows where you're gonna end up. And it's similar to how we check our phones. If you check your phone, first thing when you wake up in the morning, you're letting other people's priorities or other people's news impact how you're going to be for the rest of that day. Or if when you start your day at work, if you open your emails, again, you're letting other people's priorities influence what things you do first. So setting goals help make us and ensure that we're in the driving seat and we're setting our own priorities rather than being influenced by those around us. And it's not that we can't be influenced, or that that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just that we're in then control and we're checking in our speedometer and all of the different checks to know that we're headed in the right direction. They basically give us a reason to get out of bed every morning and keep us motivated throughout the day as well. So, you know, if we're heading to Cape Town next week and we hit a roadblock, which for those in the UK is basically when the police just hijack the road and it takes forever to get through. We're not just going to give up and go home at the first obstacle or challenge. It's just going to mean a slight delay to when we finally get there. But yeah, often if we set goals at the first hurdle, we quite often give up or think, oh, we can't possibly get there. So when we're on that journey, we're not thinking if I get to Cape Town, we're thinking when I get to Cape Town. And that's because of past experiences, because we've planned out the route, because we know where we're going. So all the work we do up front in preparation, and then all the systems and controls and milestones we put in place help us to reach our final destination. And that's basically what we do in goal settings. So they give us direction, and they give us the motivation to keep on going. So why we set goals? They give us focus on, this is the focus bit's really good for saying no to things. So often I am so guilty of this in that I don't actually value my own sense of time. And so I will say yes to everything, whether that's fear of missing out or whether it's just because I want to be helpful. So whereas if I've got goals and then I break those goals down, which we'll come on to later, it really helps to say no to things, because then all of a sudden you don't have time, or you realize that by saying yes to that means you won't be able to do X, Y, and Z. So it gives us focus. Sense of achievement, it keeps us going. We celebrate the small things that keep us motivated. Hit different milestones. Gives us structure. We need to have that map to know that if we hit a road closure, then we can go plan B or plan C. And then finally, it stretches us to get out of our comfort zone, out of our routine, to do different things, to learn new things, to meet new people, whatever it is. Stretching ourselves to do and think about things differently is really helpful. Okie dokie. So now that's enough chat from me on why we set goals, and hopefully you see the value in setting them. We are handing it over to you. And there's 3 ways you can do this brainstorm. Basically, what we're going to do is come up with all the different things that you would love to do, or you could do, or in a dream world would do during 2016. So you can put me in the middle, or you could put your theme, that if you've got your theme, in the middle. And then you can do different branches coming out from that. So it could be that you do your core values that we have done, that you came up with in your homework. So you want to feel sparkly, or you want to feel vibrant, or you want to feel inspired, whatever those things are. And then from those, you then branch out and say, what are all of the things I need to do, have, or experience to feel vibrant? What are the different ways that I can make that happen for me? If you don't want to do your core values, that's also absolutely fine. And you can take the categories that we looked at last week. So what are some of the things I would love to achieve next year professionally? What are some of the things I would love to have happen in my relationships? What are some of the stuff I would love to happen in my lifestyle? So the things that you own, your work-life balance, the experiences you want to have. What are some of the stuff creatively that you want to do? So your hobbies, the stuff you enjoy, the stuff that makes you come alive. Essence is your spirituality and the stuff that makes you you and your me time. Health, your body, mind, well-being. And then finally, finance. So whichever works best for you, either this one or just freely, just brain dump and start getting inspired about the different things that you could do throughout 2016. And don't, it doesn't have to be realistic at this point. Just go crazy and put whatever you want. And this is in, if you want to do it under my values, page 10, or you can do it on page 13. There's a blank page for you in page 13 or page 12. So lots of different places you can put it in. So 10, 12 or 13, all there for you to use and to go crazy with. And we're going to spend quite a lot of time on this. So just keep writing and keep going. So you're looking at different actions, different ways that those things can come alive, all the things you would like to do during 2016. Actions. Okie dokie. So again, we can come back, or you can come back to this at a later date. But it's great just to get a big helicopter view of all the things. And again, I encourage you to just keep going with those. But for now, we are going to break those down, or club some of those things together to try and start narrowing down what things are really important to us. So keep going with your action lists or your brainstorming or your spider diagrams. But then if these questions help, if you're sitting there going, I've got no idea what I'm doing, then maybe some of these questions might help you along the way. Okay, so the main reason I think why people fail at goals, and we briefly touched upon this last week about feeling that constant need to strive for success and hitting the mountaintop only to have to come back down again, and then constantly getting into that habit of striving and achieving and feeling good about yourself, rather than concentrating on how you want to feel. And so it's quite helpful to break our goals down, because it's great to have our crazy big motivational goals that you want to be president or prime minister, or you want to be a famous singer, or you want to win the Olympics, or you want to be a fun-loving mother. Whatever your crazy goals are, brilliant. Make sure you continue to have them, add to them, check in with them. That's what makes us who we are, and it's the fun, exciting, sparkly bits about us. But the next bit, which is quite hard to do and takes a lot of work and time and thinking, is breaking that down into the everyday. So the first bit that I want you to start thinking about breaking down is the feelings and the emotions of how will you feel once you've achieved some of your big, crazy ambitions. And then the next layer is about the controllables. And this is almost like a project plan, setting out milestones, statements that can be smart, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, time-bound, and smarty, inspirational at the end. And then this middle one is your anchor, and that's actually where the real hard work happens. That's where you start to change your routines and your habits. You start saying no to things, or you start changing how you start each morning, or you only spend cash rather than credit cards. Whatever it is, you start to change some of those habits, which will then impact all of the other and spiral outwards, so that before you know it, you are actually achieving your crazy goals. But if you don't tackle that hard stuff in the middle, and if you don't know why you're doing it, so how you're going to feel, and make sure that it's the right goals for you, that are your authentic you-ness, then none of it happens. And we end up going throughout the year drifting with someone else driving our car. And before we know it, it's December again. And we're just going to go through life probably pretty happy, but not living out the true you. So just as a couple of examples, this is some of my goals that I have done. So you can see my crazy ass goal is to run my own business. Who would have thought that? 5 years ago, but the more I keep going with it, the more realistic it's becoming. And so why do I want to run my own business? I want to run my own business because it gives me freedom, makes me feel significant and successful. The successful one is a bit wishy-washy, but yeah, I probably still need to do a bit more work with that. But the freedom one is actually really important because I love variety, and I love actually doing different things with different people at different times. So, and having the freedom to be there for my kids, or to be there for my friends, or to do fun stuff with my husband, whatever it is. So that's what drives me to say no to stuff. Then what's the controllable goal? So to run my own business, what does that actually look like if I put it into a smart kind of recipe? And this is the 250 people to register for my online course next year. Now, I still can't really control that. I can do everything possible to try and make that happen. The decision of each of those individual 250 people, I can't control. That's not in my control. So then you go down to the next level, which is the anchor. And to make that happen, I've obviously got lots of different anchors, but I just put one of them here so you can see, is to blog twice a week. So as long as I'm in the habit of each Monday morning sitting down to write the draft for the blog that goes out on Friday, then actually come the end of the year, I'm pretty confident that I'll have 250 people that have registered for my online course. And if I haven't, but I have done that blogging twice a week, I'm still going to celebrate, and it's still going to be flipping amazing because I've done everything I want to do during next year to make that happen. And you know what, at the end of the day, 250 is just a random number. It does not significant really to me. I've just tried to stretch it a bit. So hopefully that helps break down some of your goals and you can kind of see where I'm going. Then another goal on a personal level is to be a fun, loving mother. So again, why on earth do I want to do that? I want to do that because it will make me proud. If at the end of next year, I've had lots of fun times where I've been there for my kids and lots of fun memories, and somebody interviews my kids and says, what sort of mum do you have? Who knows what they're going to say? But, you know, what sort of legacy? I want to leave a legacy with them. I want when I do go, they're going to be, they're still going to be alive. And if they're happy and healthy and doing things that they're passionate about, then hopefully I've done all right as a mum. And Also because I feel loved. I feel loved by them if I'm a fun-loving mother. So what's in my control? The kind of, I think the most important thing for me, and I'm not sure if it's family values or where it's come from, is kind of healthy, balanced children. And I put in healthy because my mother was phenomenal at giving us, at cooking from scratch and giving us really nutritious food. And so that's actually quite a big thing for me. And I've realized that if my kids are eating stuff that I have cooked, then I feel like I'm that fun-loving mother. so therefore, if that's really critical to me, then I need to put it into the routine. I need to make a habit of actually making that happen, because otherwise I would just go through a day and come to 5:30, like I did tonight. So it doesn't always work, and go, rubbish, what am I going to give the kids? Let's give them fish fingers. So, it doesn't always happen. Life's messy, it's fine. But the intention is that every Sunday I cook for the week, and I plan out the meals on a Friday night or a Friday, so that then I've done the shopping, so that when I come to cook on a Sunday, I've got the stuff in the fridge. So you see how you kind of break it down into weekly routines, into things that are easily measurable. Then the monthly family day or family nights is just to do something special with us, just as a family. So it might be going to the zoo on a night tour. It might be going to the cinema. It might be going to Bambanani's, for those of you in South Africa. So the kids can stay up late and have dinner there, but we all go together and we all do something. Or it might be playing a game at home, but we're all there, we're all present, there's no phones, and we're all engaged. And I think that's realistic if we can do that just once a month. And then 30 minutes a day, I really struggle with this one, so maybe it's not realistic, is to spend 30 minutes with each one of my 3 children. So that's only an hour and a half every day, but I'm still working at that. Maybe I should do 30 minutes just with all 3 of them, or 1 a day to start off with and build it up. But that's playing games, reading stories, like actually really being present for them. So if I did all of those 3 things throughout 2016, then I would reach my crazy goal. And I would have the stuff that's in my control, which is healthy, balanced children. So hopefully that kind of prompts you into some of your own crazy goals that you started to brainstorm here. So on page, it's not numbered, 14, where it says theme, word, values, goals, you can just start to summarize and have a first bash at what your 3 goals would be for 2016. So you've got loads and loads of ideas that you just came up with. What we're trying to do now is narrow some of those down. Use the questions that were on that previous slide and are in your handout if you need some extra prompts, such as what would you get excited by, who can help you achieve these things, those questions. And then I want you to try and just have a first stab at 3 goals that you can take with you into 2016. And then once if you feel brave, after that, the page 15, start to try and break those things down. And at the moment, it might, again, just be easier to brainstorm for now and just chuck some words or chuck some habits or chuck some thoughts into how are you going to project plan that goal? What does it look like? How is it smart? How would it be measurable? How would your partner or your best friend know you had achieved that goal? So, for example, to be a fun-loving mother, how the heck would my husband know if I've done that or not? He would know because I have cooked for them at the beginning of the week, or we have had 8 family date nights. So whatever it is, start trying to break those down, and these are three things that you want to focus on throughout 2016. Any questions, put them in the chat box, and away you go. I'll see you on the other side. Okay. So moving on to the strategies and the accountability. But remember, this is hard. It's hard work to figure it all out. So you're not going to be able to figure it out in a 2-minute song that I've just played you. But hopefully you can keep coming back to this, and whilst you're in the shower, whilst you're driving, or sometime over the holidays, you actually come back to this and become a bit more intentional about, no, you know what, today I'm going to think about how I can break that one goal down, or and just allow things to pop up. It's not a forced process, but hopefully this just gives you the structure to allow you to start thinking these things through. So strategies for success are on page 16. So imagine it's the end, 2016, we're here in a year's time, and you pull out all of these notes in your wonderful workbook, or you see that I am launching another review of the year 2016. My goodness, that time's come round again so quickly. And you don't actually want to come on the call because crap, the stuff ain't happened. What has stopped you? What held you back, or who held you back? What are some of the pitfalls? What are some of the lessons? What are some of the things you've learned about yourself in life? What projects have you started before and then they didn't quite happen? What are some of the things that could come up, your habits that actually aren't that great for you? And then if you've done with that, then move on to brilliant, get the champagne out, you're friggin' awesome, you knew you would do it and you did it. What was the difference? What did you put in place? What did you remember? What did you tell yourself? Who supported you? What advice would you now give to others on how you made that happen? How amazing are you, and how friggin' heck did you get there? Cool. Okay, so what we're doing here is kind of digging into that controllable anchor layer. So the stuff that we have to, the work we have to put in, day out, the stuff that's going to get us out of bed, the stuff that if you're a professional athlete will make you do that training or that friggin' long run, or you know, if you run your own business, the reason you're finally going to go through all your expenses or your accounts or do your tax or whatever it is that you really don't want to do, but you know the reason why you have to do it. So what are some of the habits and the things that are going to make a difference this year? So some of these things you might have just come across in your strategies just now on what might have held you back and what might have propelled you forward. So some of these might be helpful, they might not be helpful. Absolutely fine. There's no right or wrong way. It's just whatever works for you. But it's going back to the work we did last week on your environment. Who can I get to support me? We're all in this together. We do this life together. So who do you already know that's already doing what you want to do? And how can you contact them? And also, are there any celebrities or are there any people that you can stalk and just figure out and see that it is possible to do what you want to do? Like, stuff your face full of that kind of stuff to see that when you start to doubt yourself, you think, well, hang on a minute, they can do it, so why can't I do it? So whether that's on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever, what media, what stuff are you allowing into your life on a daily basis? Is it supportive or is it not? Is it inspirational or is it not? So on page 17 in the notes section, if these are helpful, then you can come back to them and just run through them to try and put some systems in place to help you with those goals. Okie dokie. Are you all still with me? Any questions? Any thoughts? Any things that you need to remember? Anyone want to share their goals? Put it in the chat box so that I know you're all still with me and I'm making sense. And don't worry if you haven't got it all sorted out. It's fine. It's only December. It's not even 2016 yet. The fact that you're here and you're putting this work in is 10 or 100 times more valuable than, I would say, 99.9% rest of the population. So it takes time and it's okay, but we have at least started the thought process. And in fact, I think, oh no, I had a little picture of a snowball. Don't know where it's gone. But it is like a snowball where, you know, it just starts off really small, but it gains momentum as it goes down the hill. And sometimes it feels a bit like that we just have to take that first step. Or as Martin Luther King said, take the first step in faith. You don't need to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. He said something like that anyway, wise man. And it's so true that often you just need to just push that snowball off the mountain and see the momentum and trust yourself and stuff will start to happen and it will start to gain traction and become faster and easier as the year goes on. So, now you know what you want to do. It's time to create our game plan on how we're actually going to make that a reality. So in your notes on page 18, I've got an overview. If it's helpful to use that, brilliant. If not, if you've got your calendars already or your diaries, that's also brilliant. But this is the chance now to start putting some of those anchor things into your yearly plan. And what I do here is I would write family, date night, blogging, 8 items a month, or whatever. And then at the end of every month, I hopefully tick it or cross it or but it's like a little celebration of, yay, I've done it. Brilliant. I've been intentional this month. Or, oh, rubbish. That whole visa thing completely threw me off the rails. Back to London. Oh, well, life happens. Life gets in the way. But then when I came back in September, I could get back onto the bandwagon much quicker because I knew exactly what I wanted to achieve in 2015. And even exactly what I wanted to achieve just simply in September. So have a go at putting in some of the key things that you want to do in every month, or put in key birthdays, key events, break down your projects. So if you've got that big goal, crazy goal, then you've got the controllable goal, or the project goal is maybe you want to break stuff down into quarters. So, in quarter one, I want to focus on this goal. On quarter two, I want to focus on this goal. Quarter three, this goal for everything, or wrap up, or whatever really works. But don't try and do all 3 goals in January, is what I'm saying. It's okay. Do the first bit of your journey first. So again, going down to Cape Town, we can't do the Karoo before we've done Bloemfontein. So you have to break it down into chunks, and chunks that you can celebrate, and milestones, and create deadlines for yourself to try and focus on. So have a little go at just putting in and breaking your year down. Okay, do you want to share some of your thoughts? What are some of your anchor things that you want to do this year? What are your monthly check-ins? None of this is set in stone, so it's flexible. Things happen, and that's quite all right. But if we've done all of this work initially, then it's really helpful to help us get back in line and back focused, and to take plan B or route B, or to deal with stuff as it comes up, and to keep asking questions. Okay, so what I do, and what I'm hoping to help my lovely people do next year, is at the end of every month, I have a little mini monthly review, and then I plan the next month. So I'm pretty clear about 3 things that I want to do, or how I want to feel, or what I want to focus on that next month. And then that then forms a weekly to-do list, which again, I try to keep really simple, just maybe 3 things. Because I know I'll come on to the other stuff in a different month, or at a different time in the year. And then that's all the kind of stuff that I try to focus on with my daily tea break, which is what I named the blog, is those sorts of questions and those moments of reflection. And for me, often it's not over a cup of tea, it's whilst I'm running. But I would love it to be over a cup of tea, and hopefully when my children are a bit older, we can all sit down for a lovely 4 o'clock afternoon cup of tea. But currently they're not quite there. So that's how I kind of run the year. And then at the end of every quarter, I do a quarterly check-in and a quarterly review, which I usually offer free of charge. So if you have done this now, then you'll get access to those quarterly review sessions, which I will do online throughout 2016. So there's lots of opportunities to rejig stuff and to refigure stuff out. So don't put too much pressure on yourself if it's not all flowing and you can't gather all your thoughts just yet. Thanks, Taryn. You need to study, read, and keep up to date with trends in the media. Brilliant, brilliant. And then your spiritual side, pray with the kids and Bible every day. Dates with a child once a fortnight, dates with husbands once a week. Love that. And only in South Africa can you do that date with your husband once a week. Love living here. Yeah. So brilliant, really great habits, and look forward to hearing how you get on with those, and really authentic to who you are. So thank you for sharing those. Okay, so that's our monthly, and then put in the milestones, put in your celebrations, put in how you're gonna check that you're on track, on the right route, and heading in the right direction. This looks quite scary. The weekly schedule. So I sent this out in the email this morning. And what's really helped me this year is putting first things first, and actually putting stuff into a routine. And I am not a routine person in any way, so I do struggle with it. But I do really try to make it a habit and make small things a habit. So I broke down my day into hourly blocks, and I put in the most important, which for me right now is the me time and my running. So I put in, right, okay, when am I actually going to get that time for myself? And even when the twins were tiny, I would go out running. I would get up early and go out running. And even when the alarm went off and I really didn't want to go, I kind of told myself about the times or how the rest of the day will be if I've had that run, as opposed to how the rest of the day will be if I just kind of roll out of bed. And that's what motivates me. It doesn't motivate everyone, and actually quite often it doesn't motivate me, but sometimes it does. And so then just all the really small stuff of, okay, so if I want to work, and if I want to run my own business, and if I want to write blogs twice a week, when am I going to write those blogs? What do I need to then do? I need to draft it. I need to get a copywriter. I need to put all the links in. I need to do the images for it, and blah, 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 blah. Like, I need to upload it to my website. I need to promote it. I need to write a blurb for the newsletter for it. So all of that really, really small detail that can be completely overwhelming, I just block it into a specific time in my week of when I'm going to do all of that. And if I haven't done it, or if something else crops up on a Monday, I then know, when am I going to do that? I need to allocate myself another 2 hours during that week, so something else then has to give, or I say no to whatever was happening on the Monday. So I protect that time, when actually it's just me writing blog posts. So I could take on a coaching client, or I could do something at the kids' school. But I choose to say no, because right now the priority for me is running my own business. So this is my weekly plan of the ideal week. It doesn't happen every week by any means, but you'll see there about the blogging time on a Monday morning. At the start of every week, I try to do that weekly check-in where I write just 3 things that I'm going to achieve that week, and I put those. I actually write them in my diary. I do still have a note paper hard copy diary, and I write those 3 things in there. So that works for me. I tried Evernote and everything, and it didn't really work for me, but whatever system, I've got a system that at the moment is working. And then sorted out the kids, pick up from school, what they're doing, put all of that in, put the stuff in when I wanted Matt to do a drop off at school or a pick up at school, or so he then knows. And you know what, he travels, so it doesn't always happen. And so I've got another weekly routine for when Matt's traveling, and that's okay. But it doesn't happen all the time, and that's also okay. But the kind of special things like making pancakes on a Sunday has come from, again, wanting to be a fun, loving mum, and I want to create memories, and I want to create things with the kids. So when I feel rubbish about the fact that they're whining at me because I'm going to work, I know that they've had their time and I've prioritized them during the week. So obviously, if you've got a full-time job, this is also, the amount of time you have is even more vital and more precious. But you know what? It's not impossible. I really don't think it is impossible. And I think with a bit of thought, you can put in those extra 15-minute coffee breaks or tea breaks or runs or whatever's important to making you feel most alive and most like you. So have a go with the worksheet, with the timetable I've given you, or kind of think through how you want your week to look like and be like. And also, if routine isn't for you, then that's also absolutely fine. This is just what works for me, so I thought it would be helpful to share it. It's by no means saying that this is the only way to live your life. It's just what's helpful for me. And then some of you are asking what my wrap up of the week. So I start the week, and then on a Friday I have a wrap up of the week. So then I look back, what have I done? And I plan what I want to do the following week. And that helps me get in gear on a Monday morning. And the 222 is just, I try to thank 2 people. I try to email 2 people, phone 2 people, or text 2 people, or Skype 2 people, whatever it is, or write a thank you card, or whatever. And I use this in my executive and business coaching a lot as well, that as a leader, sod the annual reviews, which takes so much time. How about just once a week or once a month? You actually take time to notice the small things that people have done and just tell them that you've noticed them. You'll be amazed at how it increases productivity and well-being when people feel like they're significant and notice. Okay, so is there any questions? Is that helpful, scary? Any questions on your weekly routine? Oh, I see you put in yours, Amanda. Thank you. Brilliant. And Amanda, I would just add to that in terms of your anchors. You've put here to train as an early years teacher, your researching correspondence and all of the stuff. Those are brilliant actions. I would then put in when during the week are you going to free up some time to do that? And then once those are done, what are you going to do next? So yeah, I hope that's helpful to take it that next stage further. Okie dokie. Yes, you and me both, Catherine. Maybe we should put in a Friday when the boys are away, Friday wine and the kids swimming. Okay, so thank you everyone for all of your time and your thoughts and your feedback in making this review of the year happen and a reality. I do really appreciate you coming with me on my own little journey of doing it. I hope you will come back next year. I hope you will tell your friends. I hope you will tell me what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I wanted to leave you with this quote, which I use in Women, Wine and Wisdom as well. Be yourself, everyone else is already taken. And keep going with all of the different things that have come up. I agree, Taryn, about going on a retreat to just take time to figure all of this out. There's so much here. We can't really get through it in the hour that I allocated. But I'm going to stay online. So if you've got any questions, then feel free to ask those. And if you've got any concerns or any bits you didn't get, oh, I forgot. Let me show you. I should be on me now. Hey, let me come back. There we go. I'm still here. It's absolutely boiling in this room. So I'll put my hair up. And I'm probably not looking that attractive. So sorry. So yeah, thank you. And fire away with questions. Please, please, please let me know your goals that you're working towards so then I can help you be accountable. What's next for Translating Me is make sure you sign up to the blog posts and the weekly email. Those will just help you to trigger your thoughts and your dreams and your plans that you've put in place. Let me know if there's any blog posts that you would like me to write or you would like more of them. And yeah, and then, like I said, every month I'm going to release a monthly calendar with some questions to ask yourself. And then every quarter I'll do another webinar where we can come back together and look at how we're doing. So it won't be another year until I see you. It will just be another couple of months. So I'm still here. I'm going to hang around. I'm going to play some music. Which I'm going to play a Christmas song because it just made me think of an elevator. It was hilarious. So I'm going to put that on. So take this time if you need it to go back to any of the sections that you want to recap on or write more on and ask me some questions. I'll still be around for the next 5-10 minutes or so in the chat. So thanks everybody, and I look forward to hearing and seeing from you again soon. Bye for now.
Deck the